Hey.
What's up?
You feel sorry for yourself. I don't. We were both dealt a bad hand. You're just pissed because I figured out a way to make a profit from it.
Enough.
Took one wrong step and I became a monster.
Nobody thinks that.
I woke up and a part of me was missing. And I'm not talking about my leg. Yeah, I can live with one leg. I didn't feel like a man anymore. I didn't know if I could live like that, and I didn't want Anna to live like that either.
Hey.
Hey.
This is gonna be. I'm really been excited for this one because I don't know him well, but every time I see him on screen, I go, because he has that magic about him. You know, some of those people that you just want to like go. You don't have to say anything. You just say, okay, I can watch this person forever. Welcome to Meet the Biz. We have really an incredible, talented actor. One of the, it's one of the, smoldering is a word that I came up with too. He has this magic about him. He's been on NCIS New Orleans, Grey's Anatomy, Riverdale, So Help Me Todd. Oh, I like that name. So Help Me Todd. He is a winner for the 2022 Best Film Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, Mac and Cheese. He is here today, Sommer Carbuccia. There he is.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you here.
That was such a nice intro. That just like made my week.
Really?
That was so kind. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, it comes from the heart. I was like, oh, okay, how do I feel? And I just either I'm watching your stuff online or I'm seeing your picture and I'm just taking it in and I write notes down and I go, okay. So, New York, huh?
Yeah, New York. I've been here since 2011. My family's been here since like the 60s, but I moved here in 2011 to go to NYU.
Oh, where did you move from?
Well, I was born in the Dominican Republic. We moved to the States when I was like 5. And I was raised in Miami. So that's like when I say home, that's kind of where I mean.
Right.
But yeah, New York, now I've been here 2011. So that's what, 12 years? 12 years.
Okay. And you said Italian?
Vaguely Italian. No, I'm Dominican. Both my parents were born there. I was born there. The last name Carbuccia is just it's Italian by some generational thing, I'm sure.
We're all brothers and sisters, is what I have to say. We're all mixed up. Yeah, and there's a few states that are really mixed up, but we won't go into that. Your father was in the industry. I mean, he was a producer and an editor, huh?
He was. So he started the DR's one of their first news networks back in the late 70s, 80s, something like that.
Yeah.
Way before I came into the picture. And then after we moved and he kept working throughout the early 90s in the DR. And then when we moved to the States in Miami, he worked for Telemundo and Univision, which are kind of the two big Latino, they have content too, but mainly news networks. And then he worked as a freelance commercial shooter, producer, editor.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. When we were in the DR, he wanted me to be like in one of his commercials or something.
Yeah.
And this is all a story to say I'm not a Nepo baby. No, I'm just kidding. He wanted me to be like in one of his commercials, and I'll never forget. He sat me down on this chair and I got just the worst stage fright in front of this camera. It was like a stool and there was a camera in my face, and he needed me to just say like, me gusta el whatever, like whatever the product was. And I just couldn't do it. I got so shy, so choked up. I just could never do it. And I was like 5, and I didn't start acting again until high school, but
right.
I think I picked that.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I mean, you kicked it to where you went to NYU Tisch school.
Yeah, I went there for musical theater is what I got in for, because I did that in high school. And then the way NYU works, you can kind of move a lot of conservatory programs. You have to kind of do the 4-year program that they have set out.
Yeah.
At NYU, you can kind of pick and choose and switch to different programs. So I did 1 year at the film acting studio, which is Stone Street, after doing 3 years of musical theater.
So what's your favorite song?
My favorite song right now,
No,
Persuasive.
What?
Persuasive by Doichi and SZA. That's my favorite song right now.
Okay.
That's what's most played on my Spotify.
I've gotta check that. I don't know that one. I should know that one, but and why I ask is because you said musical theater. I said, okay, let's see what music.
Oh, to sing? Beautiful City. That's like my go-to audition song. It's from Godspell.
Oh, okay.
Nobody steal it. No, I'm just kidding.
Nobody steal it. Yeah, but they couldn't because they don't have your voice.
There you go. That's it.
When I said they don't have your voice, I thought of The Little Mermaid because I saw that yesterday.
Oh, it was so good. I loved it. I saw that movie.
I did
saw
too.
It twice, yeah.
Yeah. So nominated for Best Actor for Mac and Cheese and winner for Best Film, which you produced.
Yep. I had been doing the and that's how we got in contact. I had been doing the Disability Film Challenge since 2014, I think, 2015, with David Harrell producing the stuff. And I had always been an actor and had always wanted to get some of my friends involved that I had met at NYU.
Yeah.
And so that just felt like the right year to do it. And I got Amanda, who won Best Director, Jake, who won Best Editor, Yanni, who was nominated for Best Writing as well, got us all together, and a lot of our other friends, Matt, Dante, who were in it. And we just put out something we're all really proud of. Still, weren't able to do it this year, but you know, I still hold Mac and Cheese really dear to my heart.
You know, it's interesting because whenever I have Mac and Cheese now, in my head, that your film comes up. You know, even if it's for a split second, it's like, oh yeah. and then
it's like, why did I pick that name?
Yeah, why did you pick that?
I like pushed for it too. It's like, why did you? What? We could have named it anything else.
Yeah, it could have been Crab Mac and Cheese. That's a sequel.
Shrimp Mac and Cheese, right?
Oh my God. I'm just jumping all over the place today because we're having fun. It's sort of like that's what I do at therapy sometimes. I'm like talking about one thing and I went, oh yeah, and then it takes me over here.
Yeah.
You are also famous for the role of Eric Jackson in Riverdale. How did that come about?
Yeah, so that's I'd say that would be the biggest role and job that I've had the privilege of doing so far. It was 2020. It was the middle of the pandemic, and they shot in Vancouver, so production was still open over there.
Yeah, and
they were looking for an amputee. It was one of Archie's army buddies. He goes to a war. They did a time jump between the 2 seasons, and so they were looking to cast authentically. And I just got the audition for it. I sent in 1 tape, and I think it was 1 scene too. I don't think I had that. I think it was 1 tape, 1 scene, and I sent it in, and I heard 2 weeks later that I got the job. And so then I think it took about a month because it was like a recurring role. So it took about a month to finalize everything. And then I was in Vancouver from October of 2020 until May of 2021, shooting for the whole season 5 of that show.
During the pandemic.
Yep.
Wow.
Production was still on, and we never had to shut down while I was working with them. And we got tested. You know, the testing requirements were super extensive still at the time. So we were testing, I think, every other day, even if we weren't shooting. But it was just, the job was such a blessing. I mean, very few actors were working, number one. Number two, was kind of dream job, you know, a recurring TV role on a show that I had watched previously and I was a fan of. It was super cool.
Yeah, that's interesting to, you know, manifesting. Yeah, I mean, you manifested it. Well, I've one of my manifestations that I want to play a dead body on American Horror Story.
I want to be on that show. So that's my other favorite show. Is like, I love American Horror Story. I was like, yo, get me on before they stop doing that show. I need to get on that.
I know, right? Oh, I could see you on that. You'd be great.
I'll play a dead body too. Let's do it. And
I know, we'll be laying there together.
Yeah, we'll double up.
So why acting? Why? What drew you into that?
So this is such a funny story. So I actually was in journalism in middle school, and then I took journalism class as my elective freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
And then they do like half the year journalism, half the year drama for some reason. Was like, it was called the wheel thing that they did. And so I ended up having drama the first semester, and I was like, I like this. And so I stayed. And then next thing you know, I was auditioning for schools and doing plays and musicals all the time. And it just kind of became the thing, I kind of chanced upon it. I had never, because, you had mentioned before, my dad was in the industry and he was a producer in the DR and here, but I had never kind of been interested in that sense.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just happened upon it. And our paths at that point kind of ran parallel.
Right. Now, you and your dad have the same name?
We do, different middle names. He's Antonio Amagusto.
Say that again.
So I'm Sommer Augusto Carbuccia. His name is Sommer Antonio Carbuccia.
And I'm just stopping.
It's a family thing. You just go with it.
I'm going with it. Why I stopped there is the language and the way you speak is I'm just like, again, like when I saw your picture, I hear the voice too, and that language is so beautiful that it just like makes me go, oh.
Yeah, Spanish is my first language. I haven't gotten to, have I used it? I don't think I've gotten to use it on TV quite yet, but I want to.
And you will.
Hopefully.
You will. What has been your biggest challenge in life?
Ooh, my biggest challenge in life. Well, okay, so just to keep it, on the same wavelength as like professional / life as well. I actually wasn't born an amputee. I'm an amputee in case you guys didn't know, because I'm sitting down. But when I lost my leg in 2014, it was a subway accident. I was still in school. And like I said, I was in musical theater at the time. And the season, I've been always very like kind of work business oriented in my head. So when I was in the hospital, healing and all that stuff, I kind of looked at the Broadway season and I was like, this is too dancey for me to do right now.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of pivoted to TV film, and, luckily, manifesting, I was able to manifest, that TV kind of hitting in a way I don't think theater would have been able to at that time. Now I do musicals all the time. I do Christmas Carol every year at a theater. I'm part of Otherworld, this video game musical that is being developed to go somewhere eventually,
Well, I read you love video games.
I do. I'm an avid video gamer. I'm currently playing through Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, I would love to be in a video game too. That would be super cool. But that was kind of a big challenge just because I just really wanted to make this work. And I don't know if at the time I knew how I was going to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I've been lucky enough to be able to make a career out of this. But I'd say that was the biggest challenge, just logistically, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting how we go through challenges in our lives. And, my question was going to be, how do you get through a challenge like that? I went through a massive heart attack 10 years ago, and I didn't think about not getting through it. I just went like that. I don't know how about you? Did you have?
I guess in general, just with anything, I kind of deal with it with humor. I don't take much very seriously when it comes to that, because it's all, we're all just here having a good time and doing what we need to do. So I just don't think taking things that intensely helps anybody or anything. Take what you need to take seriously, and then everything else can kind of happen as it happens. But I think just going with the flow and not even in necessarily a lax way, but just, like I said, I was in musical theater. I was like, that's not going to work right now. Let's move to TV. Just there's logical, reasonable steps with the information the universe is kind of giving you. Because I do think the universe, not to get like spiritual and hoity-toity, but life, whatever, will give you these signs that you can take or, use or push against or do whatever you think you need to do. But I think in general, finding some happy medium of like using what life has kind of given you and the cards you've been dealt, and trying to make something out of that
Mm.
has to amount to something.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you mentioned A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you do it every year.
Yeah, I had done it one year. Well, so these there's regional theaters all across the country that do Christmas Carol every single year.
Right.
And a lot of the time these theaters have like the same company that comes back and does it every single year. And this theater that I had done it at for 2 years at least at this point is North Shore Music Theater up in Massachusetts. And the David Coffey, the wonderful actor who plays Scrooge, has been doing it for like 30, this was his 31st year doing it. And he's like a local celebrity in North Shore, Massachusetts, this whole thing. But that's kind of one of those blessing jobs too, where, you know, for at least 2 months out of the year, you have some kind of secure employment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Got to spread Christmas cheer once a year.
And I love too that, you know, you're holding Tiny Tim, and are you playing Tiny Tim, or you're
I play an older, it's kind of revealed at the end, but you kind of get the idea. He's an older Tiny Tim who grew up after Scrooge has his change of heart and ends up helping him out, and you know.
right. I was even, because I saw that picture of you holding Tiny Tim. I like that idea. I'd love to see that. I also was looking at it and saying, oh, that's interesting to have maybe Bob Cratchit, you know, and Tiny, you know what I'm saying?
And so I played Bob Cratchit in 2018 at another theater that does A Christmas Carol. Diva Theater up in Rochester. I had done that production. And I played Bob Cratchit in that one. And so Tiny Tim and Bob both had some kind of physical impairment in that one. You know, I mean, I don't think the actor who played Tiny Tim actually had one. I did though.
Right. Okay. I was looking online too, and I would love to hear you sing more, because I saw this little clip, and I don't know, I think your dad had taken it, but you with a group of singers, and I was going, oh my God, it's just, I want to you should have you thought of traveling in a one-person show, like whether it's cabaret or
one. I mean, I would love to tour a show. You know, I have a lot of friends that have worked, you know, who do the theater work a lot, and I've always wanted to do like a touring show of like a Broadway musical or something, or anything on Broadway that I think I'd be right for. A solo show though has always been kind of scary to me. I don't partial myself like a stand-up comedian or like an improv. And I think, you know, solo shows are kind of in that vein where you're kind of playing yourself on stage.
Yeah. So no cabaret for you.
No, there's something kind of really daunting about that. When I'm acting, I kind of enjoy the idea of being somebody else. The idea of like a heightened version of yourself is still you. So it's like that's something scary about that. Something scary. Maybe I'll get over it. Who knows? Lots of things.
Yeah, I mean, I could see you out with an album, you know.
That'd be great too.
I don't know. This is something I wrote down, and sometimes I write these questions for my own self and what I'm going through in life too. And it's going back to the question I wrote was, what is your perception of life and death? And did you feel that your viewpoint of life changed after going through your accident?
One funny thing is I don't think I could act before my accident happened, because I watched videos from college of like acting from before, and something wasn't clicking. It just wasn't working. And then I see videos after, and I was like, oh, I think something clicked. Like I got it in a different way that I think read a little better. As far as life and death, I don't know. I was raised very religious. My mom is a very religious person. My dad, not so much, but so that's kind of instilled in me in a certain way. But I think for me personally, Sommer, I think life and death. RuPaul, you know RuPaul?
Oh, yeah.
We're all born naked and the rest is drag. And I kind of take that not just for myself and performance and what you present to people, because just kind of the way he means it, but he also means in a way that kind of goes back to what I said about not taking things too seriously. It's all kind of drag. It's all a performance. When you're at work, acting or otherwise, you're portraying a certain thing. When you're with your family, you're a certain thing. So if it's all kind of in that vein, it's hard to get too caught up in the small stuff. You know what I mean? Because you understand that everyone's kind of just doing that, and everyone's just kind of trying to do their best.
Yeah.
And I'm just here doing what everyone else is doing, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out until my time comes. So
Yeah.
they call my number. Bingo.
Bingo. It's like, oh, okay, next.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of talented actors and singers, performers here. And so I'm going to bring on, I know a few people have sent in questions, so we're going to start with them. And the first one on the list,
Not that photo. Did you see that photo? Where'd you get that?
Actually, Chris, the wonderful Christine Brown, she goes on the internet and finds photos and puts them out there. So that's the first time I saw that one too.
No, I know that. I remember that photo. That's an old photo, but it's cute. I like it.
Oh, that one.
It was for a concert we did at 54 Below. It was like a promotional photo for, I think the theme was like summer or something. I don't know.
Did you? It's a gorgeous photo.
It's fun. That's New York right there, people. That's New York.
What in the concert, did you have a solo song or did you all sing with groups? Or
in that one, I think I only sang in group numbers. I'm trying to think back because I don't remember. I think that was 2017 or 18. It was quite a while ago, but yeah, I've done some solo performances of like new musical stuff that writers that I've worked with in the city do and stuff, but nothing ever like Sommer Carbuccia does or something.
Right. Okay. All right. Shannon. Okay, we're gonna get to Shannon if she's here. I thought I saw her. Oh, there she is. Wait a minute. Ta-da, Shannon! T-Rex! Oh my God. There she is. I'll unmute you.
Okay.
Hey, Shannon.
Hey, I do have a question for you.
Hi.
Hey, I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is it like to be a voice actor?
Oh, so that's it's so funny. That's actually been a really wonderful addition to, I mean, it still counts as legit work, I think, but what counts as like, theater or like TV, I would say it's the bulk of my auditions. The volume just seems to be a lot more. And it's a lot of fun. You get to really embody, I was on this Nickelodeon cartoon for like an episode where I played this Italian opera singer person. You get to play these kind of really fanciful characters. And you're in a booth, but you kind of want to embody it. So you're like the epitome of like playing pretend, because you're not on a set. You're not on, you're not on a stage in front of an audience. You're in a booth having to really make the voice sound exactly like what you think this character is. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd love to get into is voice work, because you don't have to memorize the lines.
Yep, it's right there in front of you.
Right there. And I mean, I love acting, but sometimes I go, oh, the lines get in the way for me. And it's interesting because I'm a teacher and I know what to do, but then taking it on yourself. But in fact, we're doing, I have a friend who's an animator for Disney and Warner Brothers, and we're redoing the voices of this film that he made years ago. So it's going to be fun. We're going to do that next month. So thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Let's see. I'm Mark Wells. I see your hand up, and you were the second person to actually.
I'm still having trouble getting my video back on.
Are you okay? Then we'll try to get back to you.
I have a question for him.
There you.
Oh, there it is.
There
Sorry.
you are. That's no problem. Oh,
I have a question for him.
Yes.
During your childhood in your native Dominican Republic,
Mm-hmm.
what was your first acting role before you came to the United States?
I didn't start acting until high school truly, but it would have been that one time my dad tried to put me in front of that camera and I couldn't say the one line that he needed me to say.
Do you remember that line now?
Absolutely not, but I do know it was all uphill from there.
And now you're at the top of the hill.
Yeah, I'm somewhere, I'm climbing up there somewhere.
You're climbing. Well, thank you, Mark Wells.
Gracias.
De nada.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Let's see who
For those who don't speak Spanish, he said, thank you.
Un poco español. Or is it un poquito?
No, you said it right.
Oh, okay. Gracias. Oh my gosh, Julian Carrasco's here today. Julian Carrasco. Oh, wait.
Hey, David.
Hey there. I want to be sure that I add. There you are. Okay.
Yeah. Does it take you time to do a voice, or you have to think of the voice?
Like for voiceover stuff?
Yeah. When you like do a voiceover, do you like think of a voice like, oh, I know what voice to play?
Yeah, I think for the auditions in general, I would like to I kind of just go with the first, you read the description and then you kind of think of like how you internalize that and like what that voice is in your self and how you want to describe that. And then once you're in the studio doing it, at that point you kind of have a clearer idea. So I would say I just kind of go for it.
They tell you what voice they need?
Yeah, the director will push you in whatever direction, but once you have the job, whatever you did in the audition probably was close to what they're looking for. So they'll mold you in whatever way they feel is appropriate. But I would say just go with your initial instinct, because that's what's going to be the most natural when you're in the studio, just like working.
Great, Julian. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Julian.
Let's see who's next. This is fun today. Siobhan, there she is.
Hi.
Hi.
Which part of New York City do you live in?
I live in Manhattan, so New York, New York.
Start spreading the news.
Yeah, so I'm right in the middle of it.
Very nice. What exactly did you do at the university in New York? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So when I got to NYU, the studio I was in had an acting track, but I was mainly in the musical theater department. So singing, dancing, acting, lots of ballet classes, all that stuff. And then for the last year, I was in the film acting program, which also taught us to like edit and do commercial work. And so it was a lot, very well-rounded teaching of like what it is to be kind of in front of and behind, but mainly focused on acting.
Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see. We've got a lot of hands today. I love it. Raquel Chavez is here. Hello, Raquel.
Hi, I had a question. What commercial do you like to do?
What commercials do I like to do? I've only done voiceover commercials. But what's a fun one I did? I played Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on like a Colorado lottery commercial in I think 2015 or something.
Oh, how cute.
I would say I like to do any of them for voiceover because it like I said for I think one of the previous questions, you just kind of get to go for it because you're in a studio and it's just the voice and you can do a couple of takes. It doesn't usually take that long. They're never that long. So, and you're there for the hour. So you can kind of just like make big, bold choices and just go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Raquel. I have a question here. In life, what brings you the most joy?
In life, what brings me the most joy? Peace. Like no stressors, no drama, just peace. I like a routine too, but just, a level of just like stability and calm, which I've been finding very recently, actually. That just, the thought that things are taken care of and I know the people I care about are healthy and happy. And then just kind of like doing my thing and minding my business, that brings me a lot of joy.
Okay. Nice. Let's see. Let's see, Isabel Guardado. Isabel Guardado. Let's
Yes.
see here. Hello, Isabel.
Hi.
It, 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 um, help me it else you earn um you ever in it all one oh it always or it acting
It's a little muffled. Are you getting?
if 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 friends my question it when you are adding
Were you able to get the whole question there? I thought the end was while I'm acting.
While you're acting.
Yeah.
What was while he's acting? What's the first part? It was the sound is a little muffled with the room and all that. Hi.
hi. She was asking when did you start acting, I think.
Okay. Was that your question? Okay, cool. So high school is when I started like doing it, just doing it. And then 2011 to 2015 was college, but I started working professionally and I had an agent and I was auditioning and stuff in 2014. So I've been working professionally for like 9 years at this point. If my math is right. It's probably not.
See?
Well, thank you. Great question, Isabel. And
Thank you.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Talking about getting an agent. Sometimes it's so hard for people to get agents, or it seems like that. Was it easy for you, and how did you get an agent?
So my first agent was my voiceover and commercial agent, Bonnie Shamovsky, who I've been working with since 2014. And I got her through Showcase at Stone Street. That was one of the reasons I wanted to do that studio. They did showcases twice a week during the semester, I think. Twice a week for casting directors, agents, and managers. And then from there, if they wanted to call you in, they could. And she called me in from that, and I just started auditioning. And I haven't ever since. I did one earlier today.
Nice.
And then I got with Gail Williamson, who you all might be familiar with, probably are familiar with. And now Katie McGrath, but the KMR Diversity Department, which represents actors with disabilities and is based out of Los Angeles.
Nice. So you're willing to fly anywhere?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm based in New York. I spend a decent amount of time in Los Angeles, and then I'll go wherever the job goes.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. In fact, I pretty much started teaching 25 years ago because of Gail and also Gloria Castaneda. And I started teaching at the Media Access Office.
Oh, yeah.
And then from there, I am now at Performing Arts Studio West, which is a blessing. So, all right. Well, we have a few more questions we can get out. We have Probably a cousin from another mother, Mr. Luke Zimmerman.
Hey,
Oh,
dude,
hi.
buddy. Hey, ¿cómo está?
Estoy bien, Luke. How are you?
Good. One quick question.
Yeah.
You did Riverdale, right?
Mhm.
How was it working with amazing actress Molly Ringwald? How's that with you with Molly?
Oh, so I wish so dearly that I had worked with Molly Ringwald. My
Yeah,
dad's a huge fan. I'm a huge fan.
me
And
too.
my character's storyline was that I end up moving into the Andrews house. But it was COVID, so I don't think she wasn't on that season at all until right
Oh,
after
shoot.
I had left. So I was in like 8, 9 episodes, something like that. And I never overlapped. So I did not get to work with Molly Ringwald.
You know, I did the same thing too when I met her. When I did the pilot of Secret Life that time. I
Okay.
worked with her, and I said, "Oh my God, I am a big fan of your movies."
Was she on
Like-
Secret Life with you?
Yes, when we did the pilot,
Oh wow.
and that's when I met her.
See, so I
She
should be
did
asking
a
you, how was
lot.
it to work with Molly Ringwald?
Me? That's a good question. Well, I'm doing one quick thing and I will go. Working with her on Secret Life, amazing, brilliant. And when I met her, I always dream about the working with her on Secret Life like that. 5
Sure.
seasons. I thought it'd be 6, but it's 5.
Yeah.
But really, when I met her, she's an amazing actress. I watched a lot of movies she did when she's younger. But now, working with her, amazing cast like Marty, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have loved to have gotten a chance to work with her. I didn't, but you know, everyone else on the show was really great, wonderful actors, wonderful people. So I had a good time on the show. No Molly Ringwald though.
I know she's the best.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you, Luke, for bringing up Molly. But I know Molly does a lot of singing.
Did I know that? I probably did, right?
I probably. And she does what you're hesitant about, is the cabaret and singing, but I could see the two of you doing a duet.
Not a duo performance. Yeah, it's probably something I'm gonna have to get over. You know, so many actors do one person shows and all of that, but you know, it's just I don't know.
Well, I'm that way with directing. I feel like I can do it, but I'm hesitant about, you know, I do certain directing, but
Right.
there's certain projects I go, oh, I want to do this, but you know, something I have to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monique Washington is here today. Hello, Monique Washington.
Hi,
Hi, Monique.
how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. How long you make a film on Secret Life? Make a film, Secret Life, the show.
Well, he wasn't on Secret Life.
I mean, how long you make a film?
Like, how long had I been a fan of? Do you mean Riverdale?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had watched the first 2.5, 3 seasons of it. And then I kind of fell off just because life. I think I had graduated by that point and I got rather busy. But so I had watched it for a few years before getting on it, but there had been a gap between when I got on it and when I had stopped watching. So I think that allowed me to go into it as a work thing, as opposed to, you know, kind of being just a little too excited to be on the show, as you can be if you're a fan of it.
Oh my God.
That's hard. Working on stuff you're a fan of is hard. My friend, I was on an episode of Grey's and I hadn't watched a lot of that show, so that was a little easier. But I had a friend who was this big fan of Grey's Anatomy and he just had his first guest star on it. And he talked about how it was like kind of being, you know, because he watches it every single week and then booked from one week to the next. It's just, that must be such a trip.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you for bringing that up, Monique.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Monique.
You're welcome.
It's interesting. That brings me to my one day on Meet the Fockers, and where it was actually I had the role of Don Fokker, and to be on the set there with De Niro and Hoffman, and you know, I mean, it's sort of like daunting, but at the same time, the focus is like so there.
Yeah. when you work enough, I think that, you know, it never really goes away, but goes away enough. You know, when I did So Help Me Todd, which is the most recent TV thing I did, that was with Marcia Gay Harden, legend, and Skylar Austin, who I know from a bunch of stuff as well. And so it's like, you know, that could have been a moment where you're kind of too struck to work. But, you know, once you understand that everyone's people, you know, everyone's just a person.
Exactly.
They're there at work, same as you. That kind of demystifies it a little bit. And kind of has to, because if not, then you're not going to be able to do what you got to do.
Right. That's such a good message, because ultimately, as actors, as performers, we will be working with those people that we grew up watching on TV. And when you're there, you're focused, who you are, the backstory and all that. And then afterwards you can go, oh my God, you know, what did I do today? But in the moment, you're there, you're doing it.
And you notice a lot of the people who work a lot, that you've seen work a lot, are actually, you know, some people, you hear all these rumors about them being X and Y. There are some, they work a lot for a reason. And some of them are some of the nicest, kindest people. The Grays episode I brought up, that was my second thing ever. I did it right after I shot NCIS. I actually flew from New Orleans to LA to do that.
Yeah.
And Debbie Allen is on set, you know, and as a theater person, come on. So I was like, that was like, whoa. But when I was just asking her about all these things that I was hearing on set, I forget what it was, like A team or B team, like these things that I was like, what does that mean? And she looked at me kind of like, oh, this is like one of his first gigs. And then she just explained very nicely whenever I asked anything. And, you know, I didn't feel like I was breaking any taboos or anything. Cause it's just like, hey, I'm new here. What's the tea?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it makes me think of when I first moved to LA, you know, growing up in a little town in the Northern California, you know, you'd watch all this TV, but then you come to LA and I started working. One of my first jobs too, besides waiting tables, was working for Jon Favreau's show. Dinner for Five. And I did about 3 seasons of that behind the camera. But after a couple of shows, it was like, okay, every week you get 4 new guests, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, you know, hanging out. So it took a little, you know, once in a while there's a person or two that you go, oh my God, that's so and so. But usually it's just like, oh yeah, we're all working together.
Right.
Okay, I want to see if anybody wants to ask a question. Raise your hand. Who hasn't raised their hand? I see Pam Rauka. I know we have about 10 minutes left. So here's Pam. Hello, Pam.
Hi, David.
Hi.
Hi. I want to know how long was it on the was it CSI or something like that?
How long was what was the question?
How long were you on CSI?
I was on NCIS New Orleans. That was just one episode. I played the bad guy. It was my first TV gig ever.
Wow.
Had like 2 scenes. And I actually still love that footage. That's really good footage. But yeah, I was a bad guy and I held a gun on screen. And I was like, I don't know the next time I'm gonna get to do this, but I'm gonna hold it sideways. And I held it sideways. Well, no, because it's such a trope that's not the right way to hold a gun. Nobody does that in real life. It's not a safe way to hold it. But I was just like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to hold a gun on screen again. I'm gonna have to hold this sideways. So
What's your first name?
On the show? Oh, what was my name?
What's your first name?
I'm Sommer Carbuccia. My character on that show was Xander Reed.
Oh, such a great name for the nasty character.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the only times the character hadn't lost his leg in a war. You know, a lot of the amputees on TV are war vet storylines, which is great. You know, those stories deserve to be told as well. But this guy lost his leg in a motorcycle accident because he was running some drug ring, and he was motorcycling away. It was this whole thing. I was just like, wait, this is like a cool like villain storyline for like NCI. I was like, that was a fun one.
Okay, I'm going online after this and watch that episode. I love it. How fun. Thank you, Pam. That was so great.
Thank you, Pam.
All right, I'm looking. Raise your hand, wave to me if you're interested in asking a question. We'll have enough for 2 more. Let's see. Bahara Savis is here. Bahara Savis.
Hi. My question is that what is your most favorite music video?
My most favorite music video.
Yes.
Interesting. This is such a left field answer, but it's the first one that came to my mind. You know Kids by MGMT? Mid 2000 song. Was around when I was like in early high school. A total like emo kid, you know, I'm a millennial, so like emo kids is like what used to be. I don't know what they're called now, but the evolution of what goth was in the 90s. But Kids MGMT, that's my favorite music video. That is so funny. I didn't have to think about that.
And this one thing, are you interested in adventure?
Yeah. Yeah, I like to keep busy outside of acting as well. I think that's an important part for just for life in general, but also as an actor to not kind of pigeonhole yourself into just having that be your only story. So I play my video games. I like hikes. I like exploring new places and things. And
do you like video games?
Yeah, video games is my main hobby. I've been playing World of Warcraft since 7th grade.
Yeah, it's Sonic. His favorite also is video games.
I love that. Yeah, it's great. It's a good hobby that keeps you busy, and I mean, eventually you could act in them too. So,
but the actor name is Ben Scourge. He's the voice of Sonic.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I love video games.
Yes.
Thank you, Bahara.
Thank you, Bahara.
I love it. You were saying adventure. I love that she brought that up, and you were mentioning a few things. So if you could go anywhere in the world right now to have an adventure, where would you go?
Japan. I've been learning Japanese so that I can eventually go and like spend some time. I've always loved a lot of my media is Japanese. I watched a lot of anime growing up. Most of the video games I play are Japanese role-playing games. So all of that stuff kind of really interests me. And, now in the TikTok, Instagram Reels age, I see a lot of like the food culture and just like the, just seems like a really cool place to go and visit. The biggest adventure I've had so far though, last year when we won for mac and cheese, I went to Indianapolis for Indie Shorts.
Yeah.
And then I had just gotten my license. I can't be stopped. I rented a car and I drove from Indianapolis by myself from Indianapolis all the way to Los Angeles for Holly Shorts. So I drove for 5 days down and then across on Route 66. And
did you stop?
Of course.
Okay.
I stopped. I only drove during the day. I stopped at night, just really enjoyed all the scenery and stuff. But it was just so cool to be on the open road like that. It was just so very, felt like a novel or something.
Oh, how great. How great. Yeah, I want to go next year, not this year, but next year. My brother and his honey live in Thailand, so part-time. So next year, I'm finally going to go to Thailand, and I wouldn't mind while I'm there to hop over to Japan.
Yeah, I want to get over there whenever I get a chance.
All right, let's see. Raise your hand one more time. I think we have time for one more question.
Make it good.
Make it good. Better make it good. Let's see. Somebody who hasn't gone. Oh, is that Christy Chu? Christy Chu's raising her hand. That's Christy Chu. I love you.
Hi, Christy Chu.
We're going to unmute you.
It's not gonna. Oh.
You're on.
Right.
Yes.
How do you get the thing off? Okay. Hi.
Hi.
How many shows have you been on?
How many sets have you been on?
On shows?
NCIS New Orleans. Grace. Bluff City Law, Riverdale, Sullivan Todd. Like 6 or 7.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. Very, very lucky.
Yeah. And
Congratulations.
in connection to what Christy asked, was it a different feel on each set? Was there a moment in one of those? What was one moment during all of those sets that you have been on that you remember, that you go, oh, I love that moment?
Oh, this isn't going to be the crazy uplifting answer I'm sure you were looking for. There's plenty of those.
Yeah.
It's kind of more of a teaching moment that I learned myself when I was on. I guess I learned a lot on that Grey's set, because I'm talking about Grey's a lot. When I was on the episode of Grey's, I asked, I think it was a recurring guest star at the moment. I forgot what the actress's name was, but we were working together, and then I was going to the green room after they were setting up for the next shot or whatever it was.
Right.
And I had just done some of my coverage, and I didn't like what I had done. I thought I was doing so bad. I was so in my head. And so I turned to the actress and I just go, "You never like everything you do, huh?" And she just goes, "Oh no, you hate most of it." And that was just the most, I really stuck to that because it was such like an off the hand comment. Not being flippant about it. She was just, she was just sharing her honest thoughts. She's like, "You hate most of it." And I was like, moving forward, because you really don't have control over when they cut, over what they use after you're done acting, over what you just have to feel confident in what you're doing. And you just have to learn to let it go with a tape too. Like, I don't do 100 takes of something unless I feel I really need to, because in a casting office, you wouldn't get that. You just have to be confident to know that you know what you're doing, do it. And even if it feels bad in the moment, it probably looks fine if you've done the training and done the work. And it's going to end up looking fine afterwards. You might be a big critic of it, but it's going to be okay. But that really stuck. You hate most of it because you do, but that's okay because it's still probably fine.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too that was one of your favorite shows that you did, or at least you probably enjoyed each one for its own breath, you could say.
Yeah.
But that's the one that keeps going up in your mind. So it's like, oh, I love doing that performance of that character. Yet it's very hard to be satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter what job you do, it's never gonna. I mean, some of them are like these dream jobs that nothing goes wrong, but there's always going to be. It's work, right? So there's always going to be stuff that you didn't love that day, or that It's always going to be something, but it's always net gain a positive experience, or has been for me at least, which I'm very grateful for.
Thank you, Christy, for that question.
Welcome, David. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So this is a question that when I was going to classes in LA, and I took classes from Corey Allen, who played in Rebel Without a Cause. He played Buzz. And he also went on to direct Star Trek, The Next Generation.
One of my dad's favorite shows.
He would always start class with the question, what do you want the most at this moment in your life?
What do I want the most at this moment in my life? I don't know if I was answering something before or if I just mentioned it, but I think I was answering something else. I think just the continued sense of peace and stability. It's just, I'm 6 months sober now, and it's just something that I've found just in life. Just this ability to kind of be content in the moment, appreciate the little things like everybody says, but there is really something to that. And just being able to work when I'm able to work, and, spend time with the people I love, and just keep it moving.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here today and sharing you with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. You guys had great questions. I appreciate them very much.
Oh, yes. Well, I'll unhitch the two of us right now and do a
You're Nick Navicki, you're doing a photo.
Yes, you know that. Remove all spotlights. And then we're gonna there we are.
Oh, hi, team.
Yes. What should we say on the count of three, Summer?
Oh. Ooh. Zelda.
Okay, Zelda. Okay, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Zelda.
Zelda.
I love that.
She's so persuasive. Oh. She's so persuasive, that marijuana. She's so flirtatious. How does it feel to be so persuasive, that marijuana? She's so flirtatious. How does it feel to be you? Feel like the feeling of a silk press. Feel like I got no breath. Feel like I needed rest. Feel it's the season I should let go, and that's the reason I'm about my. Feel it's the season I should fly so low. I'm so sedated, and she's so persuasive.